what you have in store for me.
Greetings out there in YouTube land, and welcome to another episode of Tell It Like It Is. I'm your host, Morris, man, and my co-host is
Joseph Spencer.
And today we're going to do a segment based on a request from one of my subscribers, the cgreen.net, and his request is this. I love the segments that you guys do. Thank you. As a young dude, I would love you to do a 3-part series on dating, marriage, and raising kids. Would love to see how your thoughts are on about dating when you were younger versus how things are now. So we're going to do that. And before I start this, I'm going to say this. I got the utmost respect for the gentleman that's sitting across from me. And sometimes I get these comments, well, you cutting Joe off. It's not that I'm cutting Joe off. We have a strict time limit to work within. And sometimes we get so engaged in our conversation that we can easily go over that time. So unfortunately, I hold the responsibility of being the timekeeper. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Joe or mean or just, shutting him down. When a certain time comes about, we got to shut it down, period. We can continue to elaborate because we can talk for hours, but, we don't have that luxury and freedom to do that. So I just want to make that clear that it's no disrespect on Joe, on my part being disrespectful to Joe. It's just that when a certain time comes around, we have to call it a show. So with that said, I'm going to open this up. We can easily say this, and I think everybody from each generation says this. Well, in my period, it was better than the period now, and that's just an opinion. But, my views on things now, the first thing I notice now versus then is this, and this is very alarming to me. And I see this when I go to the barbershop. I get there, I'm a few minutes early, I'm waiting for the barber to open up, and I'm sitting there, and there's a school down the street, and I see these little kids taking these little kids to school. I'm like, when I was a child, I couldn't cross the street on my block without supervision and approval. Now I see little kids walking 4-5 blocks. And my first question to myself is, what the hell are these adults? I know sometimes that we do not plan our children, but after they're here, we need to put together a plan. We can't just let the chips roll and send our little babies out there, and then we the first ones in front of the newscast camera crying when our children go missing because we didn't do our jobs to supervise them. Watch our kids. When my daughter was a baby, Joe, I used to take her to the movies, and I kid you not, I would take her into the men's washroom with me and put her in the stall and let her do her thing. And people looked at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I'm not about to send my little baby in that other one because I don't know who's in there.
I don't know who's in there.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I show my ID and her little ID because I had these made by the police station, picture her little ID, so if she got lost for some reason, it's on her person and they know who she is and where she belongs.
You become a good parent when paranoia sets in.
Paranoia. I totally agree. Paranoia is one of the ingredients of makeup of being a good parent. I don't care what people think.
You think of all the bad scenarios in the world to protect that
them
child
from those scenarios.
Right. You got little boy babies should be taken in the bathroom too.
Absolutely.
It's a horrible story. I found out about it.
Yeah. They do just as much harm to little boys as they do little girls.
Came home with syphilis of the throat.
Yeah.
And anyway, back in the day when I was a kid, back in the 50s, kids walked to school over on 47th Street, hand in hand, little kids, like you said. But your generation, you can't do that because kids are getting shot on the front porch.
Yeah. Now, on the news, 17-year-old kids getting shot in the head,
11,
boys
12,
being beat
8.
into comas. I'm like, this is not something that used to take place when we were growing up. That used to happen to adults. Adults behaving badly, but now you got these young people killing these young people.
You got right. Well, anyway, I would go around the corner when I was a kid, thinking around the corner was a great new world across the ocean.
Yeah,
My mama couldn't see me.
Exactly.
And when I did something, it was silly and petty, but And by the time I got back home, boy, you blah, 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 this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make, between 45th and Coleman School, there was always some parent or grandparent or a great aunt sitting on the front porch watching everybody going out in the street. Exactly. And it took me years to figure out these people were not psychic.
Yeah, they just had a network.
They had a network.
Which we don't have anymore.
The men were at work or wherever, and the older ladies, your kid, blah, blah, now, I see kids with $20 or $30 at the candy store.
Yeah.
going to school by themselves,
And eating a lot of candy.
eating a lot of
We
candy.
used to get a little treat every now and then, like at the end of the week when my father got paid. But now, I would say a large percentage of the diet for these young kids
candy.
now is garbage, candy, and fried fast food. And still a mama at home cooking a home cooked meal.
But
that's unheard of now.
That's another difference. When they advertised stuff in the 50s when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But the basic thing was home cooking.
Right. And the burgers was like, again, a special occasion. Dad got paid on Friday. He brought home a piece of a burger.
That wasn't going on. I'm older than you.
Yeah.
Everybody was from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They wasn't paying. You might get a
Every
chance.
belong.
You might
Right.
you might get a chance to go down to the rib shack, or you go for a ride and you get some Jumbo shrimp once.
Once every belong. It was a special occasion.
It was a special
as opposed
occasion.
to that's the norm, and a
Yeah.
home cooked meal now is the occasion.
The occasion.
Everything
right.
now is up the opposite of each other, or upside down.
You know, you look at down through the generations. I feel sorry for you, the kids born in the 80s and the 90s.
I do too.
I really do.
That's why I didn't want to have a whole lot of kids, because I'm like Michael Stivic of All in the Family. It's like, I don't want to bring a bunch of children into this messed up world, because it's not getting better.
It's not getting better.
Because I guess another question was, and I'm going to take the lead and then get your thoughts on it, as far as the, because we just did the raising the kids thing, or touched on that, as far as dating. Now I'm going to give you my insight on then, and I don't know about now, because I'm not a single man anymore, so I can't give you a first-hand experience on what's going on now. But I have listened to younger people that are in their 20s, and they talk about their relationships. And what I noticed from what I've heard is this. When I was a young man or a teenager, the women were very interested in, they took the lead on, I want a serious relationship from you. I want to just be messing around with you. I want to be your woman or your wife. Now I'm hearing this from the guys, that the women say, well, I don't want nothing serious. And we talked about this, and I'm going to say this. When the draws go down or come down, it's serious, okay?
It's serious. It
You
really
know, so
is. I didn't understand that for a long time.
whether you want to label it something else, but when the draws come down, it becomes a serious
That's a
relationship situation.
It's not.
But now you got, based on what I heard, these women, I want to just take it, slowly, which is fine, but
Yeah.
I don't want nothing committed. And it's like, and then of course most of the guys don't want nothing committed neither. So it's like, what good is coming out of that other than a year later you got a baby by this guy, he gone.
Well, women's libs had a lot to do with women's freedom of sexuality. I came in the beginning of that, and women really believe they're sexually freer than men, but men don't get knocked up for 9 months
And take care of kids by themselves with their mama.
My dating thing, I was brought up in the 60s, so it's free love and peace stuff, which was total confusion. I was going to women like,
Joe Gigolo.
I was a gigolo, I was a hoe. It took me years to realize I was just a hoe. And the dating thing, you go to California, you meet somebody, you go here, you meet somebody come into Chicago, you meet them, you spend the season with them, or a weekend, and blah, blah, blah. Then you find a girlfriend you spend a year and a half and 2 years with, and then I want to go to Tonga, she split, I'll be back in 18 months, she come back, and that was my dating thing, I don't know what the kids are doing now, but I know I had a young friend, what's the matter? Man, I got to get some money, go get up for my girl's weave and her fingernails.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. That's that video thing. Go get their nails done, take them to
Yeah.
the mall. And there's nothing wrong with treating your woman as opposed to treating somebody that don't want to be your woman, but the friends with benefit things. Because I had a woman tell me this in my dating days. And I was steadfast. I'm like, I guess I'm not like all these other guys out here. If my intentions on when we get together that I'm working towards us becoming a couple.
Yeah.
I don't mess with anybody that think that that's not going to happen. We just going to fool around and have sex. I'm like, I don't want just that. I want the whole package because it works better.
But you got like that when you grew up.
Yeah. So
I don't care if you were 15 or 18. When you got to that point in your head, you were grown up.
So I ran into a woman that thought that I supposed to, not just me in general or personally, it was anybody that went out with her, that they just spent $100 first 2 times or 3 times. I was like, And she said, I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not a ATM machine. You know, let's first get together on a modest date, and then if we got something in common, let's build on that. And as we build on that, the other things perks kick in as far as taking you here, sponsoring this. But I'm not doing this from day one because we haven't established that. Well, you bucking the status quo. Well, let me buck the status quo because I'm not an idiot and I'm not rich. And even if I was rich, I wouldn't do that.
My dating experience wasn't based on a dollar bill or what I could do for a young woman.
There you go.
That's because neither one of us had anything. We just had each other.
And that's that's how it starts. That's the foundation.
And new experiences. New experience. My first date that I paid for, I had $5. That included 2 hamburgers. I was smoking. There was 2 packs of cigarettes and bus fare round trip, and I came home with some change. Now, that little cheap date right now costs you what, 45, 50 bucks?
50, 60 bucks.
Yeah. So, when you 17, 18 years old, and you got to come up with that kind of money instead of sitting on the beach front.
It's interesting when you talk to people, they share these stories with you that you somehow just don't forget them because they're just so interesting. And she said she was out there, you know, doing the dating thing, and she met a young man, a very pleasant person. So they decided to have a, you know, little coffee meet thing, you know, nothing big yet, no expectations, just let's get together, talk, and see where this goes. And if there's something there, we can, you know, continue and have a official date. So they went to a little coffee shop, had coffee and talked, and she enjoyed herself, and he did too. And by the end of the evening, the finish of the meeting, the bill was only like $4 or something. He said, "Man, I forgot my wallet." And she said, "No problem, I paid for it." She's like, "No, I'm gonna pay you back." She's like, "It's only $4." And she had a good job. So then he showed up at her job about 3 days later. He said, "I'm here to give you your money." He gave her $2. And at first, I didn't understand that. And she said he basically paid for himself. And it wasn't that he was being cheap. She just realized he just didn't have it. And, you know, when men are very, you know, embarrassed when we can't supply the funds, especially something small like that. But
money has a gender.
Yeah, and realistically, all of us don't have it like that. And she's like, you know, it was no big deal, but you know, that story is an example of how in this society, men better do one thing, women better bring one thing. Men better have the money and be able to sponsor it. If not, your ass out, and the women better look good on their tight jeans to entice you and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, maybe one day there'll come a time where we can just tear all the walls down as far as these expectations that are unrealistic and say, let's just 2 humans get together and interact. That's 2 people and see where it goes.
Man and a woman.
Yeah.
Forget about the Beyonce syndrome.
Yeah. So on that note, I'm going to sign off. And as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. My name is Morris Mann, and my co-host is
Joseph Spencer.
Till next time, take care. Keep thinking.